I don't know, man. I just had a fella that I know. I want to call him a friend because we hung out a lot when I was younger. I don't want to say friends though, because we wasn't really friends. I mean, I've even hung out at his house. I met his moms and shit like that. Like, you could say we were friends, but we never was really like homies. We was just like associates that was cool enough to kick it at each other's house type shit. Kind of. His house was kind of like a party spot, so like anybody was kind of invited, kind of. But yeah, so I got news today that he killed himself, right? So that just don't sit well with me, because he's only about like 35, 36, and he killed himself. And it's like, you hear a lot of this like suicide prevention stuff and stuff like that, and it's just like, you're not supposed to kill yourself, man. You when you were born onto this earth, yeah, you ain't asked to be here, but it was a 1 in like 10 million chance or something like that. 1 in a million chance that you personally was born. Out of all the sperm cells that was fighting to get in the egg, you was the lucky one that day that got in. So let's just say and your mom, I believe he was an only child. So out of all your mom's eggs and all your dad's sperm, you was the one lucky cell that made it to the egg. That means something. That should stand for something. People kill me with this, mental health, suicide prevention. Like, you ain't just happy for that. Like me, I'm just happy for that. Like, I'm the lucky one. I'm the one who got a chance to do this thing called life. And is it fair? No. Does it suck sometimes? Yeah. There's never been a time though. I mean, I'm sure it crosses every person's mind to end their life at least once in their life. Maybe not. Yes, I've actually thought of committing suicide. No, I mean, you know what's sad? The only times I really wanted to kill myself was when I was a little kid. That's really the only times I ever wanted to kill myself. I've never, as a grown adult, ever thought of killing myself. Never. Only as a small, young child. I took a whole bottle of aspirin one time when I was like 8, and then I tried to slit my wrist when I was like 11. And that was it. And because I didn't want to live anymore, because I hated my childhood. But as an adult, now that I'm free from my bondage of childhood, now that I'm free from that, fuck no, I ain't trying to kill myself, man. I enjoy life. I love life. Like, I have no problem with life. I don't need much to be happy. That's the thing about me. I don't need a whole lot to be happy. Not much at all. Like, some good food and a roof over my head, and I'm happy. You can't, like, this is nothing in life is worth killing yourself, man. The only respectable thing that I could say killing yourself, because I'm also religious, so I don't believe in killing yourself, but I could say the only time I think killing yourself gets a pass is when you know you're gonna die a horrible, painful, slow death. Like if you get dementia, Alzheimer's, a horrible cancer or something like that, and you just don't feel like going through the motions of it and letting it all play out, go up in the woods somewhere and do what you gotta do. Don't let your family see. A lot of this suicide shit is you want people to see and feel your pain. I don't like that. Everybody goes through pain. Everybody has to feel some shit in their life. Their mom dies, their dog dies, their brother dies. You have to deal with shit in your life. Everybody. And everybody's level of tolerance of shit is different. I agree. But when you kill yourself, you're literally, if you don't go up in the woods somewhere and do it, or out somewhere where nobody knows where you live, or you know, you don't do it to where your mom can walk in and find you dead. Like, you don't do that. You don't do it to where your loved ones, your wife or your kids are the ones that find you dead. Like, you don't put that mental image on anybody. You don't do that. That part is about suicide. I don't fuck with. That's like a last attempt of self-pity, and I'm not saying my boy did this. This is just my thoughts on suicide in general. You can't leave yourself to where your family members find you, man. Like, that's dirty, man. That's you saying, look at me one last time, and letting your parents see your pain and misery, and then putting a mental image on them that they have to live with for the rest of their life, and question themselves for the rest of their life. You want to kill yourself? Go out in the woods somewhere and freaking have at it. Just you and the world and God. Just you and God. That's what you want to do. Do your thing. Don't do it to where your mom walks in and sees you with a rope around your neck or some dumb shit, sliced open wrist. Don't paint that mental image on people. Like your children or your wife or whoever, your aunt, whoever you live with. Like, I don't know. That's just my thoughts on suicide. So, I'm nobody though. You ain't gotta take my word for nothing. I just like to document my thoughts on things. So, it's kind of how I always felt about suicide. I think suicide is acceptable when you know that your fate is near and you don't want to deal with your fate. And I don't think you should have to. If you don't want to do chemotherapy and you don't want to go through the pain of cancer or whatever, and you just don't want to deal with becoming a vegetable slowly, like Alzheimer's or Parkinson's or whatever, like, if you just can't deal with that and you feel like you want to just end it sooner, that's the only acceptable way I could see suicide. Just because you ain't is depressed or something like that, that ain't a good enough reason, man. You don't just walk around depressed. Like, very few people do I know who are depressed their whole life. Like, you become depressed, in my opinion. Yeah, you got your little kids, I guess, that are dark or whatever you want to call them, but like, most people don't start out depressed. You ain't have no childhood. You never got a bike as a kid. Okay, so you know what happiness is. You ain't never got your favorite video game or a toy, a G.I. Joe when you was little. You know what the feeling of happiness is. Make that shit happen. Fuck it. It's not fair to say you're depressed. I don't think it's fair to say depression. That's not fair. That's basically saying you can't cope with life. And that's not fair to say that. You don't have, especially in America, it's not fair to say you got little kids in India with freaking tires as shoes on their feet, freaking worrying about getting raped and killed every day. You don't have a depressing life. Period. Little kids in Africa starving to death. Flies in their eyeballs because they don't even have the energy to get them off them, to swat at them. You don't know what depression is. It's some wimpy shit, man. And I'm not trying to be offensive, and you can get on there and say, oh, you just don't know. No, I do know. I know what I've been through. If you went through what I went through, you would be depressed. And I'm not saying like there's not times where I've had sadness in my life. Sad is just sad. You're allowed to be sad. You're allowed to be mad. You're allowed to be angry. You're allowed to be happy. You're allowed to have emotions, man. That's what I don't understand. Like, you're allowed to have emotions. Just don't let one overpower the rest, man. Like, you should always be able to think of the bright side. There's always a bright side to everything. Silver lining, whatever you want to call it. There's always a positive to a negative. Always. Even if it's little. That's why they call it like the silver lining. There's always a positive to a negative. Like, my childhood was fucked up. But guess what? Don't matter. I'm an adult. I'm not a child no more. So who gives a fuck? My dad wasn't there for me. So the motherfucker fucked my mom and made me. That's enough. Thank you, bro. Thank you. I'm forever in debt to my father for making me. He ain't in my life. He's never met my children. I don't hold it against him. That's his life. That's his story. This is my story. And my story, I'm happy that I'm here. I'm happy that he met my mom and they had a little fling and here I am. I'm happy for that. I'm cool with that. I'm okay. I don't hate my dad for not being in my life. I don't hate him for it. Because at the end of the day, I'm here. My whole life story or whatever is not going to be defined by my dad not being in my life. That's not it. I'm fucking here, baby. Here I am. Let's go. Let's rock. Like, this the Mike show. This ain't the Mike's dad wasn't here show. This is the Mike show, man. What's poppin'? I'm talented. Let's go. I'm a smart individual. Let's go. The fuck? Yes, there are things that I missed out on from not having my father in my life. You think I'm gonna sit around and cry about it, though? I learned. My dad didn't teach me how to shave. Motherfucker, pick up a razor and shave. My dad didn't teach me how to change a tire. Motherfucker, grab a fucking wrench and put it on there and get that motherfucker off. My dad didn't teach, man. You got the internet, bro. You don't need no dad. Fuck out of here with that crybaby shit. I don't like that shit. Your dad wasn't there, then that should be inspiration for you to be a good father. That's all I can say about that. But yeah, we done. We gonna end it here. Y'all have a good evening. Take care. God bless.